Okay, so I wanted to ponder. I'm actually curious as to what you guys think. JT, you just did a move like this in the 3rd and 20 league, in the 3rd and 20 Dynasty League. What do you do with the injured players? If you have Derrick Henry, whatever running back that gets injured for the year, and you're a contending team, and you're like, crap, there goes my RB1. Do you package him and other assets to pick up a Kamara, a DeAndre Swift, a Najee Harris, any one of these talented running backs right now, and just overpay for them real quick, get back in contention? Or on the contrary, if you're a rebuilding team, do you go out and start targeting these injured running backs at a discount and try to be the beneficiary of that sort of a trade with a contender? What is the move? I'm curious to hear your guys' opinions.
I gotta take, guys.
Go ahead, JT.
I think both is the right move.
Oh,
I
agree.
Let me tell you why. I think so. If you're in the 3rd and 20 league, which like 6 of you are, but in the 3rd and 20 league, we had a trade go down where I traded away DeAndre Swift, who I love. Everyone who listens to this podcast knows I love DeAndre Swift, and Juju Smith-Schuster for Derrick Henry, Travis Etienne. I included a second, Cortland Sutton. I got back. I know I'm mangling everything right now, but it was basically a large trade of a lot of players where it was, I was giving up the high asset in DeAndre Swift, but my team wasn't really a contender. And I gave my DeAndre Swift to the contender team. And my rebuilding team got back 2 injured running backs in Derrick Henry and Travis Etienne, and an underperforming Cortland Sutton, along with I got some other player back.
Sutton's one of my favorite buy lows.
Yes. So to me, why this makes sense for both teams and why you should be trying to do something similar, be it if it's with Cam Akers or something too, is I got Logan Thomas back. That's what I was looking for. Why it makes sense for the contender is, and I'm only advocating for this if you're in the top 3 of your league in points for specifically, but you also feel pretty comfortable that you're going to make the playoffs, is if you're a contender right now, those guys aren't really doing you much help, especially the ones injured like Travis Etienne or Cam Akers, who you're not even sure what they're going to be when they come back. In return, you're getting that top 5, top 10 running back, whoever you're looking to trade for, who will certainly help you. That's just so many added points that you didn't have. And that makes you like a force. And what you do, which isn't realized with this trade, is you force other teams to make trades to try and combat you. If you're a top 3 contender right now, and you just made that trade and you just added another top running back to your roster, those other 2 top teams are now looking at your, reinforced roster, and they're going to themselves, I have to go trade for those kind of players now. And that makes a market, that makes them have to pay higher, that makes them hurt their teams more. It's kind of like that guerrilla warfare kind of strategy. Now, if you're on the rebuilding side, I know I like that myself. I came up with that just now.
Dude, we got guerrilla warfare going on in our fantasy leagues this whole time.
Look, you guys haven't been in the trenches like me.
No, everything you're saying is completely true.
Yeah. The rebuilding side, I mean, I specifically targeted these players that I all like, that I think are going to gain value just by the fact of them getting healthy. Like they have all seen a decrease in their value simply because they're injured. And while I really like Cortland Sutton, I really like Derrick Henry, and I don't know what's on the screen and why we're laughing, Frank.
But just guerrilla warfare. That is hilarious.
Look, dude, if you're not in the trenches with me, you're against me. You can get in my foxhole, Frank.
He's a big guerrilla warfare guy.
It knocked me off track completely. But where I was going is, these guys, these Derrick Henrys, these Travis Etiennes, Cam Akers, J.K. Dobbins, yes, but like he's definitely going to be like a really hard one to get. They've all lost value simply because they're hurt, and they've lost to the point of they just need to return and they will get value. Like they will increase, and you could trade them. Now, I probably would just hold them actually through the NFL draft. I would wait until you actually get to the regular season. I don't think it makes any sense to try and trade them before the NFL draft because those pick prices are going to be so high and people are going to, like Frank said, trying to win the championship in the offseason. I think you just hold them straight through to the regular season and then you try and make your trades because that's when people are really going to be like, oh, like I'm just a Derrick Henry away from competing, or oh, Laviska Shenault didn't work out for me. Let me go try and trade for Travis Etienne. I bet he'll fill in that role, kind of thing. And to me, I think that's the perfect scenario for both teams. The one team that's trying to contend, the one team that's trying to rebuild. You're both building value in separate ways. And ultimately, it's for the championship. So if you even lose a little bit of value going for the contending, banners fly forever. Unless you're Jake and win in a COVID year, and then it doesn't count. It's a Mickey Mouse race. All right, sorry.
Coming from a guy that doesn't even have one.
I don't want to hear it. Up there in my rafters has 3 top 5 players ranked on Keep Trade Cut. that can fly for the next 2 or 3 weeks until it changes.
Oh my goodness.
All right. I know. I hope people were able to follow along with what I was saying. I don't know if you guys were.
Yeah.
I guess the only real risk with buying the injured players is if that team like kind of doubles up in the draft.
Right? Yeah, I mean, it's the same with any team really. Like Derrick Henry, I think is just Derrick Henry. He's kind of a anomaly in the fact that I think Derrick Henry is fine. Like Travis Etienne is one that I'd certainly be concerned about. I mean, James Robinson exists. He's still going to exist. I think he'll carve his own role. But to me, go ahead, Jake.
I mean, the problem with all these guys is that if you're buying them with the expectation that they're going to return to even a percentage of themselves prior. But in the case of Etienne, we haven't even seen him in the NFL. Like there's a lot of risk movement here, but there's a lot of reward. It's a big risk reward play here because if they come back and they're the same guy, if Cam Akers comes back and he's the same guy, you just got a top 5 dynasty back for almost nothing. Well,
yeah, and here's where if you're in the 3rd and 20 league, I think you should cover your ears and don't listen to this because this might be what I'm going to employ. But I just think you don't even have to worry about that. You just wait until the regular season comes, and then you just trade them before.
So you're just straight on stonking them.
Yeah, you trade them before they're bad. Yeah. I mean, it's like I don't know.
For example, like whether or not you think Cam Akers is going to come back healthy, if you trade for him now, then training camp comes and they say he's getting first team reps and he's back practicing, his value is going to go up right then. Like,
when he catches that first pass against Air, oh my days!
Once that video comes out,
exactly,
his value goes up by at least a 2nd round pick.
And look, like I don't know anything. I mean, we brought in guerrilla warfare. I'm about to bring in crypto right here, where it's just like all those pump and dump coins. Like
I love it. I love it.
You only lose if you hold. You only lose if you hold overnight because eventually it's gonna crash. So with these players, you only lose if you hold them into the regular season and they don't do anything. But you just wait for that training camp. You just wait for the hype of. There's going to be Dynasty Nerds and DLF and all these other places being like, these are the targets that you should buy low on, and then
once they're a consensus buy low, they are no longer a buy low.
Exactly.
Dude, I'm just gonna tweet saying that I'm at the Rams training camp and just start pumping Cam Akers. I'm gonna buy all the Cam Akers. I'm gonna be literally on the other side of the country, just like, dude, Cam Akers easily the best player on the field, just every day.
Yeah, Bionics. He's like what's Arnold Schwarzenegger? Why am I blanking on this? Terminator. Yeah, Cam Akers is the new Terminator out here with his new Achilles, just destroying everyone on the field. Aaron Donald just got bench pressed.
He's destroying so much air right now, guys. RB1.
All right. Anything else we wanted to hit on with this injury scenario?
I do like the idea of if you're a rebuilding team, like kind of like what you mentioned. Going and buying those injured backs. I know we kind of talk about the ones that kind of have more risk to them. And I know Dobbins' price is still high, but man, I still think Dobbins is going to be that good. We're even at the slightly higher price than those guys. Right now, he's around what, RB 15?
Yeah, 17.
Loon, you're breaking the whatever the crypto.
He's the one guy
here.
I'm not dumping. Yeah, I'm just buying.
You're breaking the rule here, Loon.
Because I think he's easily by mid-season next year be considered the top 7, top 8 dynasty back. I think he's that talented. ACL injuries are one that athletes in recent years have just come back fine from. It's not kind of something we're dealing with in ETN's injury where it might take a little bit more than 1 year, or Akers with the Achilles. Like Dobbins, I feel a lot safer about. And obviously, that's factored into the price. But if someone who's in the playoff race or contention race has him, I'd be offering like win now pieces and picks trying to get him. Because I think by the time he comes back next year, he's going to jump into the top 10 dynasty backs.
No respect for AJ. You guys moist not know yet. Lol. I don't know what that means. Does anyone
Who
know
said
what
that in
means?
the chat? Was it someone we know or just
Jackson G?
Jackson G. AJ Dillon?
Yeah, I gotta assume it's AJ Dillon. I mean,
what has he done for us to respect him? Like the Packers just gave Aaron
we
Jones
already
a big
talked about
contract.
him. We already talked about him. I want to bring up.
They were so high on him, they wouldn't have paid Jones.
How far down the chain do you go? Because we've only been talking about the top running backs, and I think that like buying any of them at a good price at this discounted value is a good move if they do or don't pan out. But what about guys like
Gus Edwards?
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of that tier. Is it just firms stay away? I mean, there's a whole list of them, like KJ Hamler, DJ Chark, Juju. Like, what about these? I mean, we're kind of going all over the place, but is there like a line, or are you just buying everyone at a discount?
All right. Well, I mean,
there are a few guys
very
that have injuries throughout the year that I kind of like. Like, I feel Jacobs and Sanders, I still like his talents, and I feel like
those guys are gonna. I mean, Sanders,
both of their values got injured more so than their body.
I don't know. I mean, Sanders is hurt right now. Jacobs has missed a bunch of games this year. I feel like right now both their guys' values are lower than it should be. I'm higher on both of them. Who else has been some of like the major injuries or people?
Yeah, but I was talking more about the philosophy more so than just buying players whose values are down.
I don't think it works as well with the lower tier players because the price change is not going to be that much. So you might buy, Gus Edwards for let's say a late third, and you sell him for what, a high third? Like the profit margins on a player of that magnitude is not going to be the same as the profit margins on a guy like Cam Akers, Dobbins, all those higher end guys. Because if you can get those even for a late first, you could probably flip it to a mid to a high first, maybe even multiple picks, maybe even a better player. There's just way more you can do with a guy that's going to be that highly ranked if he is healthy.
Those are also the players that can completely get destroyed by the draft.
Correct.
In terms of whoever gets drafted to the team could just wipe their value.
We're just sticking to the high ones then.